LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the ultimate prospecting tool for fresh B2B data. But yet, most salespeople barely scratch the surface of its potential. I've used it to generate millions in pipeline over the past few years and close over 1 million last year alone. It was not always this way because early in my sales career in 2017, I struggled to hit quota until Sales Nav appeared in 2018. But in this video, I will share 6 proven strategies that transform my results, help me build my own lead gen agency, and launch my own sales SaaS. So let's dive into it. First, let's master the foundation, which is setting up your persona. A persona is just a filter you create for your ideal customer profile, aka ICP. In my case, it's going to be sales director in the United States. So let's jump straight into Sales Nav and go on the top right into the personas section. Click on show all persona. You go down and click on create a new persona. I'm going to write as a name sales director USA, for example. Function, we're going to select sales. Seniority level, director. I'm going to add also the current job title to announce our search, sales director. And let's see if we have something as director of sales. Yeah, I like this one, director of sales and business development. And then geography, United States. And then you save it. And that's how you build a persona on Sales Navigator. So it's here, sales director USA. Let's jump into strategy number 2, the job changes. So decision makers who are new to company or recently got promoted, they are on the market for new processes and new solutions because they want to have a direct impact with new things in their roles. And little pro tip, usually I like reaching out to those people in their first months. So let's see how it translates on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So first thing, you need to go on lead filters. Let's reuse the persona that we created earlier. So we're going to go into workflow, persona, and select sales director USA. Now we can see that we have hundreds of thousands of results. So hundreds of thousands of sales director that we can possibly target. However, all those guys, they are not new in their company. Only a small portion of them. So we need to segment that. And to do so, we need to go into recent updates and select that toggle, change jobs. And now we can see that we went from 100,000 results to 2,500 results. And as you can see, Corey, 3 months, Henry, 3 months, Jerry, 3 months. So those guys are new in their sales jobs. And this is how you can have a direct impact whenever you reach out to people who are new in their company by knowing when they join. And the first 30 days are usually the most impactful because if you reach out to a sales director after 15 days in his new company, usually it might not be 100% clear about what's going on and what's next, but at least you can maintain that relationship with him or her over the first quarter. So the earlier you arrive, the better, because he might take those decisions for the new technology and new processes by the end of this first quarter. But the earlier you talk to them, the earlier they have time to like you, trust you, and be like, oh yeah, actually that solution could make sense for my team, for my department, etc., etc. Now let's dive into the third strategy, which is headcount growth. So in this section, we're going to talk about how to find companies that are growing and why it is super important. Because a company that is growing, and specifically a department that is growing, means 2 things: new challenges and a need for new solutions and processes to face 2 challenges. So how does that translate directly into LinkedIn Sales Navigator? So for this, you need to go into the account filters. And as we are targeting a sales department, I mean, in my case, I'm going to go into department headcount growth. I'm going to select sales department. I'm going to put a minimum of 33% because I want a significant amount of growth in that department before targeting them. And I won't add any maximum because I don't want to cap it. If sales department is growing by 200 or 300%, it's perfect. I want to know it. So let's add it. Now we can understand that we have 470,000 companies that have a sales department that is growing by at least 33%. It's huge. But for me, it's not enough because all those 470,000 results are not ideal customer profiles. So I'm going to segment it using the filters of Sales Navigator to match my ideal customer profile. So for that, I'm going to select the company headcount. So I'm going to target 51 to 200 headcounts type of companies. So now we went from 470,000 to 70,000. I exclusively target United States from 70,000 to 14,000. And now the industry, I only want to go after software development companies. So in 3 filters, I went from 470,000 companies to 1,000 results. And now I know that those 1,000 results have their sales department growing by minimum 33%, which is pretty significant for me to start approaching them and see what are the challenges and possibly sell them my product, my service, or any processes that I could help them with. Now let's jump into strategy number 4, which is building a lead list. And why is it so important? Let's take the following example. You're a sales director and you sell to other sales directors and you meet with those guys, with those sales directors during trade shows of let's say 3-4 days. During that timeline, you might meet with let's say 40 to 100 sales directors. A handful of them are going to be interested right now about what you sell. But what do you do with the 90% left? You can keep them into a lead list. So how does that translate into LinkedIn Sales Navigator? I would recommend to have a lead list with your interesting conversations. Not all the conversations that you have are going to translate into an immediate contract. So you need to nurture those relationships. And to nurture those relationships, you need to know how is your buyer persona and ICP evolving along the way. And for that, I have created that lead list with all the interesting conversations that I had over the past few weeks. Into them, I have 169 results. And now I can very easily identify with Sales Nav how many of those 169 people changed job in the past 90 days, or how many of them posted on LinkedIn in the past 30 days. And those point of data are very helpful to maintain the relationship with those leads. So now I'm going to show you also how you can add new leads into your interesting conversations lead list. So let's say you have that pool of people that you've met at an event, and all of them are interesting conversations that you want to maintain. So let's say Jerry is a sales director at Seraphim Solar. Very interesting for you. You want to keep in your interesting conversation. So you just go on save, click on interesting conversations. And now if we go back here, we can immediately see that the list is going to go from 169 to 170. So that's basically how you can maintain and nurture relationship with your buyer persona very easily using the lead list functions of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. The strategy number 5 is about going after leads who were working for my existing customers. Why? They might already know about my company and my solution, which means that those leads are way less cold than all the typical prospects. I'm going to show you how you can see that on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. To see this into LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can go into a lead search, select the persona that we built earlier, so Sales Director USA, and we're gonna use the filter past companies. We're gonna select 3 of my clients. Hypothetically, AT&T, Oracle, and IBM are my clients. Actually, IBM is. And we know that we went from hundreds of thousands of sales director to 2,000 sales director. Those 2,000, they either worked for AT&T, Oracle, or IBM. So the approach is to tell them that you've noticed that they have worked for AT&T. AT&T used to be a client of my solution, and it would be quite interesting to see if they are willing to explore that for, let's say, eGain Corporation or Glow Service Corp, which is their new companies. And that's how you can use that particular filter to target new leads who might know about your company, your solution, or even yourself. Strategy number 6 is about the connections of filter. It's useful for 2 reasons. You can use it first to target the connections of your existing colleagues or your existing leadership. And second, you can use it to find the connections of your existing client and use them as a reference. I'm going to show you how it works on Sales Nav. So here we are on a lead search on Sales Nav, and we're going to reuse our usual persona, Sales Director USA. And as a connections of, we're going to take our first use case, which is connections of someone from your leadership or a colleague. So I'm going to select Youssef, who is my business partner for the past 5 years. And as you can see, we went from hundreds of thousands of results to 15 results, meaning there are 15 people who are sales director, who are connected with Youssef, are matching my persona, but are not connected with them. So I can ask Youssef to directly introduce me to them, or I can message them on LinkedIn with an approach that is related to Youssef. You now have a very specific 6 steps blueprint to strategically target high ticket sales accounts and leads on Sales Navigator. But if you want to become the ultimate pro on Sales Nav, please check this LinkedIn Sales Navigator masterclass that my business partner Youssef recently recorded. See you in the next one. Bye.